In a city where time never stands still, people often leave their pasts behind to chase new beginnings. Emma believed she had done just that, creating a new life for herself after a painful divorce. But life has a way of bringing old secrets to light when least expected. Emma's world was about to be turned upside down by a truth she never saw coming, a truth that would change everything. Welcome to Tales by Gemini Bay, where we bring the most captivating stories to life. On a quaint street corner, Emma sat alone in a cozy coffee shop, savoring her afternoon latte. The world outside the window bustled with activity, but inside, it was her moment of peace. Little did she know, her quiet day was about to take a dramatic turn. As she got up to refill her cup, she collided with a man rushing in. Coffee spilled everywhere, and as she looked up to apologize, her heart skipped a beat. It was David, her ex-husband, whom she hadn't seen in a decade since their bitter divorce. Emma managed to maintain her composure, exchanging polite greetings with David, though her mind was racing. Memories of their marriage flooded back, their dreams, their struggles, especially their heartbreaking inability to have children, which had ultimately driven them apart. David, looking more anxious than ever, hesitated before speaking. "Emma, there's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice trembling. "I have a confession." Emma's world tilted on its axis. A confession? After all these years? Her emotions swirled between anger, confusion, and a flicker of curiosity. David invited Emma to sit down, and over the next hour, he revealed a secret that had haunted him for years. It wasn't long after their marriage began to strain that David, in a moment of weakness, had an affair with a woman named Sarah. The affair was brief, born out of his frustration and the growing distance between him and Emma. But shortly before the divorce was finalized, Sarah had disappeared from his life, leaving David to deal with the guilt of his betrayal alone. Now, a decade later, Sarah had contacted him out of the blue with news that left him reeling. She had given birth to a son, Alex, shortly after their affair ended. Due to her terminal illness, she could no longer care for Alex and asked David to take responsibility for him. David had been grappling with the enormity of the revelation that he had a son. The guilt of not telling Emma sooner weighed heavily on him. The more he thought about it, the more he realized he couldn't move forward without addressing the past. So, he hired a private investigator to find Emma. It wasn't easy. Emma had changed jobs, moved to a different city, and even changed her last name. But after weeks of searching, the investigator had finally tracked her down. The meeting wasn't just a coincidence, it was David's last-ditch effort to make things right, to find some closure, and perhaps, a second chance. When they bumped into each other in that small coffee shop, it wasn't by chance. David had been hoping, praying, that she would be there, that he would have the courage to approach her and tell her everything. Emma sat there, stunned. The betrayal felt fresh again, the pain of David's infidelity cutting deep. How could he have kept this from her? But beyond the anger and hurt, there was a pull in her heart, a need to understand, a strange sense of duty to this boy who was, after all, an innocent party in all of this. After their initial meeting, Emma couldn't shake off the whirlwind of emotions that followed. The revelation that David had fathered a child during the final, most tumultuous days of their marriage left her reeling. She had always suspected there was more to their abrupt divorce, but to have it confirmed now, after so many years, felt like a fresh wound. David had been earnest, almost desperate in his plea for Emma to meet Alex. He understood that his confession had hurt her deeply, reopening old wounds they both thought had healed with time. But this was his son, an innocent child who had no part in the decisions that tore their marriage apart. He wanted Emma to see Alex not just as the product of an affair, but as a child who needed love, stability, and perhaps, a chance to know the woman he had once been married to. For days, Emma wrestled with her thoughts. Part of her wanted to slam the door shut on that chapter of her life and move on. She had built a new life for herself, a life without David and without the shadows of their past. But another part of her was curious about Alex, about what kind of father David had become, and if, after all this time, there was still something left between them worth salvaging. Emma finally agreed to meet with David again, but she was clear about her hesitations. They met in a quiet park, away from the bustle of the city. The air between them was thick with unspoken tension. But David was patient. He listened as Emma voiced her concerns, her doubts, and her anger. He didn't interrupt, he just listened, nodding occasionally, understanding the depth of the hurt he had caused. Emma finally agreed to meet with David again, but she was clear about her hesitations. They met in a quiet park, away from the bustle of the city. The air between them was thick with unspoken tension, but David was patient. He listened as Emma voiced her concerns, her doubts, and her anger. He didn't interrupt, he just listened, nodding occasionally, understanding the depth of the hurt he had caused. When Emma had said everything she needed to say, there was a long, heavy silence. David then spoke, his voice steady but laced with regret. He explained how he had changed since they were last together, how becoming a father had given him a new perspective on life. He admitted that he had made terrible mistakes, but he was trying to do the right thing now, for Alex, and perhaps, for them as well. It was then that Emma's curiosity got the better of her. She agreed to meet Alex, though she made it clear that this meeting didn't mean she was ready to forgive David. It was more for her own peace of mind, to see for herself the boy who had been at the center of such a life-altering secret. When she first met Alex, Emma was determined to keep her emotions in check. She didn't want to feel anything for this child who represented so much pain. But as she entered the room where Alex was waiting, her resolve began to waver. Alex stood by the window, looking out with a pensive expression far beyond his years. There was something about the way he held himself, the way he turned when he heard the door, that struck a chord within her. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world around them seemed to fade away. Alex's eyes, David's eyes, held a mixture of curiosity and caution, as if he was trying to figure out who this new person in his life was. Emma walked over slowly, her heart pounding in her chest. When she finally reached him, she knelt down to his level. "Hi, Alex," she said softly, her voice catching in her throat. "Hi," he replied, his voice quiet but steady. There was a long silence, filled with unspoken words and emotions. Emma could see traces of David in Alex, his smile, his mannerisms, even the way he fidgeted slightly with his hands. But there was also something more, something that drew her in. She felt an unexpected warmth towards the boy, a connection she hadn't anticipated. As they talked, Emma found herself opening up to Alex in ways she hadn't expected. They spoke about simple things at first, his favorite books, his love for drawing, but soon, the conversation turned deeper. Alex spoke about his fears, his worries about his mother's illness, and the uncertainty of his future. Emma listened, her heart breaking for this child who had been thrust into a situation far beyond his control. By the end of their conversation, Emma realized that she couldn't walk away from Alex. He needed someone, and despite everything that had happened between her and David, she knew she couldn't turn her back on this boy who had already lost so much. In that moment, Emma made a silent promise to herself, and to Alex, that she would be there for him, no matter what. As the weeks passed, Emma found herself increasingly involved in Alex's life. She and David began to rebuild their connection, this time as friends united by their care for Alex. But the past's shadows lingered. One evening, as they were discussing Alex's future, David finally broke down. "Emma," he began. "When we were struggling to have children, I was scared and confused. I am sorry I made a terrible mistake of being unfaithful to you. Please, forgive me." Emma was silent at first. All those years, she had believed their inability to have children was their only challenge. The realization hit her like a tidal wave, bringing both relief and anger. "Why didn't you tell me?" she demanded, tears streaming down her face. David looked at her, his eyes filled with regret. "I was ashamed. I thought it was something we could overcome together, but I didn't want to admit my failure, not to you, not to myself." Emma took a deep breath, trying to process everything. The secrets, the lies, the lost years. But amidst the pain, she saw an opportunity for healing. They had both made mistakes, but now they had a chance to start anew, to rebuild their lives with honesty and understanding. Together, they decided to seek counseling, both individually and as a family, to navigate their complex emotions and histories. Through this journey, they learned the importance of communication, forgiveness, and the strength that comes from facing the truth. David's secret had shaken Emma's world, but it also opened a path to healing and redemption. They weren't the same people they had been 10 years ago, but in many ways, they were stronger. They had a chance to build something new. Not just for themselves, but for Alex, who became the bridge between their past and future. As Emma got more involved in Alex's life, she discovered more about the boy's interests and dreams. Alex loved painting and had a talent for capturing emotions on canvas. Emma decided to enroll him in art classes, and she found joy in seeing him thrive. She also started volunteering at his school, getting to know his teachers and friends, becoming a supportive figure in his life. One weekend, they took a trip to a nearby lake, a place where Emma and David used to go when they were married. It was a chance for them to create new memories together, to let go of the past and embrace the present. They rented a small cabin and spent the days fishing, hiking, and simply enjoying each other's company. One evening, as the sun set over the lake, Alex asked a question that caught Emma off guard. "Why did you and Dad get divorced?" he asked, looking at her with innocent curiosity. Emma hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "Sometimes, grown-ups make mistakes and hurt each other," she said gently. "Your dad and I had a lot of pain in our hearts, and we didn't know how to fix it. But we're trying to be better now, for you and for ourselves." Alex nodded, seeming to understand in his own way. "I'm glad you're here, Emma," he said. "I like having you around." Tears welled up in Emma's eyes as she hugged him tightly. "I'm glad I'm here too, Alex." As the months turned into years, Emma, David, and Alex formed a new kind of family. It wasn't perfect, and there were still challenges, but they faced them together. Emma and David's relationship evolved into a deep friendship, built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to Alex's well-being. They celebrated birthdays, holidays, and milestones together, creating a tapestry of new memories. Emma found fulfillment in being a mother figure to Alex, and David found solace in the stability and love they all shared. One day, Alex presented them with a painting he had been working on for months. It was a portrait of the three of them, standing by the lake, with smiles on their faces. "This is us," he said proudly. "Our family." Emma and David looked at the painting, then at each other. They saw not just a beautiful piece of art, but a testament to their journey, a journey of pain, forgiveness, and redemption. They had come a long way, and they knew there were still many more chapters to write in their story. As they stood there, holding Alex between them, they realized that the past no longer held power over them. They had faced the truth, healed their wounds, and built something new and beautiful. They were a family, bound not by perfection, but by love and resilience. In the end, Emma and David learned that true strength comes from vulnerability. By facing their deepest fears and sharing their truths, they found a way to heal and move forward. Their journey wasn't easy, but it was a testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and the enduring bonds of family. Moral of the story of Emma and David teaches us that secrets and lies can cause deep wounds, but honesty and forgiveness can lead to healing and redemption. It reminds us that facing the truth, no matter how painful, is essential for building strong, lasting relationships. And above all, it shows that love and understanding can bridge even the deepest divides. If you enjoyed this story, kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories. Drop a comment to express your feelings about the story. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Check out our other videos for more interesting stories and adventures. See you in the next one.